Hi everybody, so we're going to be talking about what to do at a tabling event. Since in the fall we're going to be going back to some sense of a new normalcy, we're going to be going back to tabling at the student union, for example, maybe even at the field house for athletic games, just as few examples. So we're going to go through some of the steps as to what you need to bring for a tabling, but also like how do you prepare, because sometimes like this is not pretty to put on a table like that. So how do you prepare for a tabling to look pretty? So one thing you're going to need is, of course, the UREC tablecloth. It is very big, it's very large, so it can fit one table perfectly, and it will have extra cloth on the bottom that you will need to hide. But also, if you have a chance to have a second table, you can easily stretch it out with no issues at all. So that's one important thing you're going to need. These acrylics, and for right now we just have intramurals because that's what we have downstairs by member service at the moment. But normally you would just replace it with the material that is ongoing at the moment. So maybe I'm going to put the GX flyer here, I'm going to put the whole GX flyer here so it's easily readable to everybody who's passing by. Or maybe just a full-length intramural schedule, for example. So these are some of the things that you're going to bring. Normally you bring 2, sometimes you can bring 3, but if you bring 3, just keep in mind it's going to get a little bit crowded. So here you go. Thank you. And then, of course, you have your little mini flyers. So these you can easily pass out. This is for design. So these 3 that you have here, you can easily pass them out to anybody who's walking by. So for right now, we have only fitness for just to practice. So we have the PT, the GX, and then we have an example of a fitness outreach. So you have these available. If you have a flyer that is this size, don't try to squeeze it in like that because it's not going to come out pretty, especially if you're going to have it in bulk like this much. So if it's going to be this size, you might as well just leave it out so somebody can just easily grab it. But if it's going to be something like this size, then that's okay. You can easily just put it into one of these here and then just layer it because you do have 4 available slots. So
normally you'd put like different departments, so maybe like a fitness and then an outdoor adventures or aquatics. Mm-hmm. Like give it some variety.
Yeah, so you never want to put 100% fitness, you always want to give it variety because that's what we have to offer in the facility. Sometimes you can also bring something like this. It can be something for promotional, for events, or it can just be something like check out our social media pages, you know. So that's another. One thing that a lot of people love is promo items. So you have, these are the promo items that we have available. So we have pens, key rings, we have 2 different sets of towels, and then we have bags. Of course we have this bags and then we have the drawstring bags. So normally if it's something for like big items that is like, it's going to be worth something, maybe like a key ring or something like that, you would normally ask the person you're talking to, hey, follow us on 2 social media platforms and I'll give you a key ring. Or maybe that if you guys want like one of these fancy towels, I can't pick it up, one of these fancy towels, follow us on 4 and we'll give you this towel. So it's just kind of those things. You never want to say like, oh, here you go, here you go. You never want to pass them out willingly and freely. You always want to have like, do something for me and then I give you something in return kind of thing. Pens, these are easily, you can pass them out easily. And hand sanitizers, pass them out easily. So those are some of the things that we have. And of course, if we have shirts, those are kind of like the big, say like the big prizes. It's almost like you're going to a carnival and you have that big teddy bear. That's the big prize. Well, the shirt is the big prize. So then you're going to have to do more. Follow us on 4 social media platforms, or maybe 5, and then you'll get a t-shirt. You know, if you already follow us on all the platforms, well, maybe do something on stories. Do a shout out, say, hey, UREC is here at the stump. Don't forget to stop by at the table and tag us so that way we can reshare it on stories. So those are just some examples. And then lastly, this is also free. We're just going to use these for example. Food, snacks. This is also a freebie. So you don't have to ask them to follow us on social media or anything. These are just like freebies that you can just put around on the table and just say, you guys can just grab a snack. 9 times out of 10, the snacks are always going to be healthy. They're going to be like granola bars, those kind of things. But then of course we do have like the occasional candies here and there, like fruit roll-ups. Everybody goes crazy for it. I do too. So like there's always going to be a variety. Same thing as you were going to be putting the flyers in here, the snacks, make it a variety. Because if you're going to be bringing nothing but trail mix, maybe somebody that you're going to be talking to, maybe 2 people, has a peanut allergy. Well, maybe you can offer them something else, like an alternative. Maybe you can offer the fruit roll-up, or maybe a granola bar that doesn't have any peanuts. Just examples. So at least you have some alternative. So the fun begins on assembling the table. So let's clear this up. So what you're going to do, and that's the reason why you have 2 people, not one, because you have your person next to you to help you communicate with others when you have an onslaught of people, but also you have that second person to kind of guide you as to how the tablecloth looks. So Lisa, can you pull it up a little bit more?
Yes, ma'am.
More. Pull it up on your left side. There you go. Does that look better? Yeah. Okay. On the side, do you guys see all that extra cloth? You tuck it in. You tuck it in. So if you don't have a second table, you're going to tuck it in.
Do it nice and pretty.
Yeah. And normally when you guys have your boxes or your box, it's going to go underneath. So anything that you're going to hide, your backpacks, any extra bags, boxes of some sort, they're going to go underneath. So that way it will help put the weight on the cloth for it to not start flapping during the weight. Okay, so next is your flyers. So then you have the acrylics. So you set one on each corner, kind of like angling towards inside. And then if you have little flyers like this that correspond with the acrylics, you go ahead and match it. So if I have, what is this? Intramural tennis, well, I have intramural tennis flyers. And then if I have hot shot, I'm going to put hot shot over here. So you match it corresponding to this part. If you end up having just nothing but like fitness, GX for example, then you just lay them out in the middle, pretty. And then you have this right behind. Yeah.
But Britt, what if we don't have acrylics that day?
Good question. So if you don't have any acrylics, let's just hide this here. You have more room to go ahead and spread things out. So if you have flyers, you can easily put them around, and then this will always stay in the middle, or you can have it off to the side. So it can be either or. So you have a lot more room to play with your flyers, so that way it's not like one on top of each other. And also you have a little bit more room for snacks. But since you are limited from having these acrylics, these flyers, that means you're going to have to promote them much better, because there's no visual representation of the event or the activity of some sorts. Okay. Cool. So we're going to put back these bad boys.
So Britt, we want to maintain social distancing, but we still want to try to have a 2-man crew if we can. So how would you go about that?
For social distancing purposes, you'll have it on either end of the table. So I'm going to stand on my right, and Lisa will stand on her left, and that's how we keep social distancing. You will try your very best to keep social distancing from the person you are talking to, but sometimes it's not always going to be the best because you're going to be outside, you got to play with the elements, the wind and so forth, and maybe he or she may have a mask. So you can kindly ask, can you please speak up a little bit louder, so that way we can maintain the social distancing. So,
What happens if it's extremely windy outside when we're tabling and we have so much paper?
perfect. So we have this thing called bull clips or paper clips. So if you have a lot of these flyers out and it's super windy, it is best to have paper clips or bull clips to have them clipped together so they don't all fly around. So if you're gonna have somebody that's gonna be reaching for a GX, just say, oh, it's paper clipped or bull clipped. Or maybe myself or Lisa will reach around and grab it for them. Or we'll take off the bull clip, lift it up so they can just take it off. So you make it easier for them. It's kind of like that customer service that you just want to have that friendly aspect with the person you are talking to. Cool. Any more questions? Police? Police? Okay. So, Lisa, how do we put these on the table?
So, if it's a t-shirt, we know people love t-shirts. Pretend this is a t-shirt. We kind of put them real nice and neat, maybe one or two, and we'll stack them on top of each other like so. And so they want to gravitate towards us, right? We're like, ooh, sure. We'll put it like in the front, real nice, like presentable, that kind of thing. And then, you know, kind of think of it as like a fancy restaurant and they display like those little garnishes or whatever. These are your garnishes. So maybe this, oh, high ticket item, come look at it. But you don't want it too close where they just grab it and walk away.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on them because they're grabbing.
I have stories.
And
And then if you have pins, you can just easily, don't throw them like I just did, just put them in the middle because it's like a free-for-all. It's a free-for-all grab. So you can just neatly put it in the middle, have them stacked, kind of, sort of. Just don't have it spread out.
And if you have extras of a thing, especially when it's windy, these things tend to like flop all over the place. So if it has like weight to it, you can put it as like a weight for the back, so it doesn't flop down. And so it kind of hides it and it still looks presentable, kind of thing.
Another thing that will help whenever it's windy with these bad boys, as well as the cloths, because this will go flappy, is one, the bull clips, and there's a special clip that we have in storage that is for tables that will clip it so it doesn't start flapping all over the place. Really, everything that you kind of tucked in shouldn't really be flapping because you're gonna have your backpacks, your the tubs, you're gonna have everything underneath to hold it down. So really those clips are just kind of to help stabilize it around. And for these, you can bring in weights. So like a 5-pound weight, like the plate weight, you can bring those and just have it sitting behind to kind of stick this down.
In the past, if we knew it was a very windy day and we had a lot of papers, we would use the clips. We would talk with our fitness coordinator, Faye, and just say, hey, is it possible to borrow a couple of penny weights, the 2 pounds? And so we would take it from the fitness floor, about up to 6 at most,
Sorry.
and use those. But we will start investing into a couple of weighted items for you guys to have in your tub, or that you can go ahead and like put in your tub at your discretion if you know it's going to be a windy day. But that's kind of what we've done in the past. The other is, it's depending on the tabler person behind the table, but sometimes people would already put like pre-packaged all flyers together. So if you have 5 flyers, they would already put them in stacks. So yes, you can pick which one you want, but sometimes you might just give them all 5 at once, especially if you were to walk. So having a 2-person crew would allow for Britt to stay and Lisa to actually walk around to other tables and to maybe pass out flyers. Because what happens when you're tabling, you can't leave. It's very hard to. So ideally, there are students behind tabling. So having Lisa with her stack of papers going around and just talking with other folks allows two things to happen. Allows you to give your flyers to them, but it also allows you to know what they're tabling about, and so you become a student at that moment, so you're able to maybe get some swag yourself or the flyers that you're interested in. So that's the other reason we also like to do a pair if possible. That's like our goal is to have at least two people, but there are times where only one person can make it. One, because of scheduling, or also because of Brownsville, the limited staff that's available. So that's kind of where we try to tag team if possible. So if there's two, Lisa can go first, she can go out, but when we tell her, hey, go ahead and just go around as students, but here are some flyers, make sure that you kind of get rid of them, like pass them out along the way before you come back. And then we would swap where Lisa stays, and now Britt does the same. For Brownsville, because you have like your colleagues, typically you guys still would be able to do the same, because again, Brownsville loves to cross-train a lot more because of those reasons. So that helps out. But just for you guys to kind of be aware, we don't want you all to miss out on the events themselves. So that's why we like to do that effort.
And it's perfectly okay that if there is like a tabling opportunity in between your classes, or just right after your class or before your class, that you bring your backpacks. That's why I say you put it underneath. Maybe, say for instance, I have a class in the morning and then there's a tabling. Lisa's available to get the stuff, the bucket, the tub, and the game possibly, and meet me at the student union, or meet me somewhere on campus, and I go meet her after class once I'm done. So those are some opportunities, and vice versa if you need to leave for class. So, any questions? No? Cool. Food. Snacks. So, what do you do with snacks? You make it look pretty on the table. So, if you have all granola bars of the same kind, you normally have it side by side. So say for instance, let me just use those. Oops. Just pretend those are. So say for instance, all these kind bars are the chewy bars. So what you do is you just have it all stacked pretty next to each other, anywhere on the table. Just don't put it on top of the promo items like the shirts and whatnot. You can have it here in the corners, you can have it here in the middle, anywhere that there's space. Make sure you have it all together if they're the same product. Same thing with the fruit roll-ups. If it's all the same fruit roll-ups, I'm going to put it here. Or if maybe it's the, what is the fruit gummies? Fruit gummies, I'm going to put all of them together and maybe put it here. So this is some example of how to put out your snacks. I'm just literally hiding the peanuts just in case. If you don't want to have both shirts out, you can take one shirt out, and then you have more room to go ahead and play with your food, literally. Mm-hmm. So you can start organizing it to where it's all on one side. And maybe I can make it easier, and I just put the chewy bars together on this side, and since I have extra, I can probably put a few on this side. Just so if somebody's interested in the chewy bar and they're on Lisa's side, they don't have to like, let me grab it, reach over and impede on somebody else that I'm probably conversing with. So you can like divide it. You don't have to have all the Reese's over here. I can give 3 to Lisa, and she can put it where she thinks it's going to be good, not in her pocket. So yeah. And that's how a table for just one table would look like. Of course, if you have 2, you have more space to, one, open it out, and you can have all the snacks like a little bit more spread out. Everything will be more spread out and not so congested.